The Pacific Ocean, covering a third of the planet, is home to thousands of islands, once seen as remote and quiet. For decades, the U.S. considered this region its strategic backyard, a buffer zone of stable alliances. But now, the tides are shifting. China has arrived, challenging the old order. Across atolls and volcanic islands, Beijing is making its presence felt, funding new ports, airstrips, and government buildings. These projects, built by Chinese state-owned companies, are transforming the region. The Pacific Islands sit astride vital sea lanes connecting the Americas to Asia. Control here means influence over global trade and military movement. For the US and allies like Australia, maintaining influence has been a security cornerstone for 70 years. Now, that foundation is under threat. China's billions in loans and aid come with questions. Is this just development or a strategic power play? The answer is complex, and it's causing deep concern in Washington and other Western capitals. Small island nations are caught in the middle, trying to secure their future without losing sovereignty. The US is waking up to a new reality in its own neighborhood. The Pacific is becoming a new front in the US-China rivalry. What happens here will ripple across the globe, shaping the balance of power for decades. The stakes are high, and the competition is only intensifying. The once peaceful Pacific is now a battleground for influence. The world is watching as the region's future hangs in the balance. The Pacific's shifting tides are redrawing the geopolitical map. China's Pacific strategy is built on infrastructure, ports, airstrips, and fiber optic cables. The Belt and Road Initiative brings deep-water ports and upgraded airports, modernizing island economies. In the Solomon Islands, Chinese investment surged after the country switched diplomatic ties from Taiwan to Beijing. In Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea, Chinese companies are building roads, wharves, and telecom networks. Huawei has laid undersea cables, promising faster internet but raising Western security concerns. These projects are financed by Chinese state loans, hard to refuse for small nations needing development. China offers aid without the political strings attached by Western lenders, rapidly building goodwill and dependencies. The scale and speed of China's effort have caught the US and its allies off guard. The region's physical and digital infrastructure is being transformed, and so is its political landscape. For Pacific nations, the benefits are real, but so are the risks. The blueprint is clear. Economic ties pave the way for deeper influence. Washington's core worry is the dual-use nature of China's projects. Ports and airstrips built for commerce can quickly serve military purposes. A deep-water port in the Solomon Islands could become a logistics hub for Chinese warships. Upgraded runways in places like Kiribati could host surveillance flights or military transports. This would extend China's reach and challenge US dominance in the Pacific. The concern isn't about a Chinese base tomorrow, but a gradual shift. Access agreements evolving into military footholds. A leaked security pact between China and the Solomon Islands in 2022 revealed Beijing's ambitions: police, military personnel, and ship visits. Both sides deny plans for a permanent base, but the lines between civilian and military use are blurring. The US must now rethink its defensive posture in a region it once considered secure. China's civilian projects are changing the strategic map. The Pacific is no longer just a backwater, it's a potential front line. The stakes for regional security have never been higher. The ambiguity is the challenge, and the opportunity. China's strategy isn't just about building infrastructure, it's about building relationships. Beijing courts Pacific leaders with high-level visits, scholarships, and medical aid, winning hearts and minds. The diplomatic push has paid off. The Solomon Islands and Kiribati switched allegiance from Taiwan to China, a major win for Beijing. Economic incentives often precede these shifts, showing China's ability to use its wealth for political goals. Meanwhile, Chinese warships and hospital ships make regular port calls, normalizing a military presence. China provides police training and equipment, deepening security ties and creating new dependencies. These moves give Beijing leverage over internal security and politics in the islands. The region's established order is being unsettled. China's influence is now felt in every sphere: economic, political, and military. The Pacific is no longer just a diplomatic afterthought. China's rapid rise in the Pacific has jolted the US into action. Washington is reopening embassies, launching new aid packages, and offering infrastructure financing to compete with China. The US is reviving the Peace Corps, and increasing Coast Guard patrols to help Pacific nations secure their waters. Military exercises and disaster response drills are ramping up, reaffirming America's security role. President Biden hosted the first U.S. Pacific Island Summit, unveiling a long-term strategy for a free and open Pacific. The U.S. promises more resources, more engagement, and a more integrated approach. The challenge: can this renewed focus be sustained, or will it fade as priorities shift? Pacific leaders remember being courted during crises only to be forgotten later. The U.S. must prove its commitment is real and lasting. The competition with China is forcing America to rethink its approach. The Pacific is now a top priority in U.S. foreign policy. The stakes are not just regional, they're global. The U.S. is racing to regain lost ground. The outcome will shape the region's future for decades. The Pacific's strategic importance has never been clearer. The question is America's renewed focus enough to counter China's gains? Only time will tell. For Australia and New Zealand, China's Pacific push is an immediate security threat. Australia's Pacific Step-Up has made it the region's largest aid donor, funding health, education, and climate resilience. Canberra offers infrastructure financing and undersea cables to counter Chinese bids. Security ties are deepening. Australian police train local forces and patrol boats are gifted to island nations. New Zealand's Pacific Reset focuses on partnership and climate change, resonating with vulnerable atoll nations. Both countries coordinate with the U.S., sharing intelligence and conducting joint exercises. The AUKUS Pact boosts allied military capability in the Pacific. The challenge: convincing Pacific leaders that Western support is more beneficial than China's. The region's future depends on effective coordination and trust. The Pacific is now central to Australia and New Zealand's security calculus. Pacific nations aren't just pawns, they have their own interests and concerns. Many worry about debt traps. If they can't repay Chinese loans, Beijing could seize strategic assets. Economic dependence raises fears of political subservience and loss of sovereignty. Chinese workers on projects sometimes fuel local resentment, and corruption allegations spark distrust. The U.S. warns of opaque Chinese loans, citing Sri Lanka's Hambantota port as a cautionary tale. But Pacific leaders resent being told who to partner with, arguing they're making pragmatic choices for development. They skillfully play great powers off each other to maximize benefits. The challenge: leverage the rivalry without sacrificing independence. Pacific nations walk a tightrope, balancing opportunity and risk. Their sovereignty is at stake in this high-stakes game. Despite concerns, China's offers are appealing: roads, ports, and buildings that transform daily life. These projects create jobs, boost local economies, and deliver visible results fast. China's aid comes with fewer strings than Western donors, making it attractive to leaders under pressure to deliver. Western aid often feels slow and burdensome by comparison. China's non-interference policy and rapid delivery win political points. Pacific leaders use the competition to diversify partnerships and avoid over-reliance on any one power. For them, it's not about choosing sides, it's about building a better future. The region is leveraging great power rivalry for its own gain. The Pacific is now a key arena in the global contest between China and the U.S. and its allies. China will deepen its economic and security ties, while the West ramps up engagement. The question: can Western focus be sustained, or will it fade again? Pacific nations remember being courted, then forgotten. Their ability to act collectively, especially on existential issues like climate change, will be crucial. The stakes are global control of sea lanes, supply chains, and military balance. The Pacific could become a flashpoint, or a model for managing great power rivalry. The region's choices will shape the world order. The peaceful Blue Pacific is now at the center of a changing geopolitical map. The outcome here will echo far beyond these islands. The world is watching as the Pacific's future is decided.